Your attention span, your impulse buys, even your Monday morning dread, none of it is an accident. It is a program running in the background of your mind, installed by a system that profits from your distraction. And the scary part? That program has a scheduled update for 2026 that will make everything worse unless you do this one thing today. I am going to show you where the code is hidden, how to rewrite it, and why this next year is your last chance to do it while it still matters. The poverty operating system, how your mind was hijacked. Let me ask you a dangerous question. When you think about money, what is the first feeling that comes up? For most people, it is not excitement, it is not freedom, it is anxiety, a tightness in the chest, a vague sense of never having enough. That feeling is not your intuition. It is a downloaded subroutine. I want you to understand something critical. You were not born fearing money. You were taught to. Think about the programming. From childhood, you heard the same phrases on loop. Money does not grow on trees. We cannot afford that. Rich people are greedy. Every single one of those statements is a line of code. It is code that says, money is scarce, money is hard, money is morally ambiguous. By the time you were 18, your mental operating system was already running version 1.0 of the poverty mindset. And the worst part? You thought it was your own original software. I want to give you a specific example, a micro story you will recognize. A child asks for a toy in a store. The parent says, "Put it back. That is too expensive." Logical, responsible parenting. But the child's brain does not hear a budgeting lesson. It hears, desire leads to rejection. Wanting things causes stress. Nice things are for other people. That moment becomes a core memory. Fast forward 20 years. That same child, now an adult, gets a raise at work. Instead of thinking about investment or growth, their brain flashes, do not get excited. This could disappear. Maybe I do not deserve this. The programming is still running. They celebrate the raise with a cautious dinner, not a bold investment. The Poverty OS just executed another command. This is where 94% of people get stuck forever. They are trying to build wealth with an operating system designed for scarcity. It is like trying to run the latest video game on a computer from 1998. The hardware might be capable, but the software will crash every single time. You cannot get rich thinking like a poor person. The two objectives are incompatible at a code level. Now, here is what nobody tells you. The system does not stop at childhood. The programming continues into your adult life, and it is getting more sophisticated. Every time you scroll through social media and see a friend on vacation, your brain compares. Every time you see a luxury car ad, it whispers, "Not for you." Every time you check your bank account with that familiar dread, you are reinforcing the code. You are not just observing your finances, you are practicing a feeling, and practice makes permanent. But the most insidious part of this whole system is what I call the productivity trap. You are taught that the solution to money problems is more hard work. Hustle harder, grind longer, sacrifice more. So you do. You work 60-hour weeks. You side hustle. You are productive as hell. And you are still stuck. Why? Because you are using all your energy to run a flawed program more efficiently. You are typing faster on a broken keyboard. The system loves this. It wants you tired, busy, and just profitable enough to not question the code. I learned this the hard way. In my 20s, I was running myself into the ground. I was working 18-hour days building my first business. I was productive, but I was not getting rich. I was just getting tired. One night, I looked at my numbers and realized something terrifying. My effort and my results were not connected. I was putting in A+ effort for C- returns. That is when I understood. I was not in a business problem. I was in a programming problem. My mind was still running the old scripts. Work hard to survive. Money is a reward for suffering. You have to earn every penny through pain. I was coding my own struggle. If you are still watching this, you have passed the first filter. Most people hear this and click away because it is easier to blame the economy than to examine their own mind. But you are different. You are ready to see the code, and that is the first step to rewriting it. The good news? An operating system can be updated, a program can be rewritten. But you cannot just install a patch. You need a full system overhaul. And that overhaul starts with identifying the 3 core viruses in your poverty OS. We will get to those next, because if you do not remove these viruses, everything else you try will fail. And 2026 will just be another year where you work harder for less. The 3 core viruses, what is actually running your mind. So now you know you are running an outdated operating system, but to fix it, you need to find the exact malware corrupting your code. I have worked with thousands of people, from broke students to frustrated millionaires who still felt poor, and I found the same 3 viruses in every single one of them. These are not just bad habits. They are silent protocols running in the background, eating your processing power and redirecting your energy away from wealth. And I can promise you this, you have at least 2 of them running right now. Virus number 1, the scarcity kernel. This is the deepest level code. It is the belief that there is not enough money, not enough time, not enough opportunity. It turns every decision into a threat assessment. Your brain, running the scarcity kernel, sees a potential investment and thinks, what if I lose it? It sees a career change and thinks, what if I fail? It sees someone else's success and thinks, that should have been me, but now it is too late. This virus hijacks your perception. It makes you see a world of limits, not a world of resources. I want you to see this in action. Think about the last time you checked your bank account. What was the first thought? For most people it is, do I have enough to cover everything? That is the scarcity kernel executing a command. It is not asking, how can I grow this? It is asking, how can I survive with this? That single question changes everything about your financial behavior. It makes you conservative when you should be bold. It makes you hoard when you should invest. It makes you choose safety over sovereignty. Here is a micro-story from my own life. Early in my career, I had a chance to buy a commercial property. It was a good deal. The numbers made sense. But my scarcity kernel was screaming, what if the market crashes? What if you cannot find tenants? What if this takes all your cash? I hesitated. I waited. I lost the deal. The guy who bought it sold it 3 years later for double the price. My loss was not the money I did not make. My loss was the reinforcement of the virus. My brain learned, see, taking risks leads to missing out. Better to play it safe. That lesson cost me more than the property ever would. Virus number 2, the Deferred Life Protocol. This is the virus that says, I will live when I will be happy when I have more money. I will travel when I retire. I will start my business when I have more savings. It partitions your life into now, which is for suffering and work, and later, which is for joy and freedom. This is absolute poison, because later never comes. The goalpost keeps moving, and you end up living a life of constant preparation for a life that never arrives. This is where people wake up at 45 with a good salary and a hollow soul. They followed the script. They got the degree, they got the job, they got the house. And they are miserable, because the Deferred Life Protocol has a fatal bug. It disconnects present effort from future reward in your mind. Work becomes a punishment you endure for a future prize that keeps receding. No wonder you are unmotivated. You are running a program where your daily life has no intrinsic value. That is not a way to build wealth. That is a way to build resentment. Look at your own life. How much of your current routine is framed as a grind to get to some future payoff? Your gym session to get a future body, your overtime to get a future promotion, your budget to get future security. All of it is the Deferred Life Protocol running, and it is killing your creativity, your energy, and your ability to see opportunity right in front of you. Wealth is not built by people who are waiting to live. It is built by people who are fully alive in the process of building. Virus number 3. The Identity Firewall. This is the most defensive and dangerous virus. It is the part of your programming that says, "I am not a rich person." It defines your identity in a way that excludes wealth. You might say you want money, but deep down, your self-image is tied to struggle, to being the underdog, to keeping it real. Your identity firewall sees wealthy behavior and rejects it. That is not me. That is for other people. That is arrogant, lucky, pretentious. It filters out any thought, behavior, or opportunity that does not match your current self-concept. I see this all the time. Someone learns about investing and says, "I am not an investor." Someone sees a business opportunity and says, "I am not an entrepreneur." Someone gets a chance to negotiate a higher salary and thinks, "I am not pushy." That is the identity firewall blocking the upgrade. Your mind is protecting a poor self-image because, on some level, it believes that image is who you are. Changing it feels like a threat to your very existence. This is the moment most people self-sabotage without realizing it. They get a breakthrough idea, then suddenly feel like an imposter. They make a chunk of money, then panic, and spend it all to return to normal. Their identity cannot tolerate the new reality. So the firewall activates and burns down the progress. It is a psychological immune system attacking the very thing you say you want. Now, here is the critical part. These 3 viruses work together. The Scarcity Kernel makes you see limited resources. The Deferred Life Protocol makes you postpone joy and action. The Identity Firewall ensures you never truly become someone who could have abundant resources and present joy. It is a perfect self-reinforcing prison. And the system loves it, because a person running this software is easy to predict, easy to sell to, and easy to keep in their lane. But you are not most people. You are still here. You are identifying the code, and that means you are ready for the next step, the 2026 reprogramming sequence. Because knowing the viruses is only 10% of the battle. The real work is writing new code, and we have to do it before the system pushes its next major update. The 2026 compatibility test, what the new system demands. You are patching your code. Good, but here is a hard truth. Your personal upgrade is not happening in a vacuum. The world outside is also compiling a new version of reality. The rules of the game are being rewritten by forces most people do not even see. If you walk into 2026 with just a slightly better mindset, you will be like a polished vintage car at a Formula One race. Beautiful, but utterly irrelevant. This section is about the external upgrade. This is about what the new system demands, and whether your newly rewritten mind will be compatible. Think about 2019. The world was one way. Then, a global event forced a system-wide update almost overnight. Remote work, digital everything, supply chain chaos. It was a compatibility shock. Millions of people and businesses found their old software would not run in the new environment. 2026 will be another one of those shifts, but slower, sneakier, and therefore more dangerous. It will not feel like an earthquake. It will feel like the ground turning to quicksand under your feet. You will sink slowly, blaming yourself, not realizing the very terrain changed. There are 3 new system requirements launching in 2026. Your mental software must be optimized for them. System requirement number 1. Cognitive agility over static intelligence. The old world rewarded knowing things. The new world rewards unlearning things. Static intelligence, having a fixed set of skills and facts, is becoming a liability. The half-life of a professional skill is now about 5 years and shrinking. What you know today will be obsolete or automated by 2026. The new system demands cognitive agility, the speed at which you can discard an outdated mental model and download a new, more useful one. This is where the Identity Firewall we talked about becomes a death sentence. If your identity is tied to being the marketing expert or the finance guy, you will cling to dying knowledge. You will defend your old expertise while the world moves on. The wealthy in 2026 will not be the ones who know the most. They will be the ones who learn, unlearn, and relearn the fastest. Your value will not be your knowledge base. It will be your update speed. I see this already. The people struggling the most right now are the experts who built their entire self-worth on a skill that AI is now eating. The ones thriving are the perpetual beginners, the curious, the mentally flexible. They see AI not as a threat, but as a new tool to master. Their identity is not, I am a writer. It is, I solve communication problems. One is a static label, the other is an agile function. Your reprogramming must build this agility into your core identity. You must become a platform, not an app. System requirement. M2. Asset fluidity over hard assets. The old wealth code said, buy and hold. Buy a house, hold it for 30 years. Buy stocks, hold them forever. This was the hard asset mentality. It is breaking. The new system requires asset fluidity, the ability to move value quickly between forms, cash, crypto, digital assets, skills, attention, networks. Value in 2026 will be more like water than like brick. It will flow to where it is treated best, and it will evaporate from stagnant pools. Your scarcity kernel is the enemy here. It makes you hoard. It makes you cling. It creates an emotional attachment to specific assets. My house. My stock portfolio. But in a fluid system, attachment creates vulnerability. The wealthy of the next decade will treat assets like temporary containers, not permanent treasures. They will own a house because it serves a current life need, not because it is a forever home. They will hold a cryptocurrency because it has momentum, not because they believe in the project. There is no sentiment. There is only flow. This does not mean you become a day trader. It means you develop a mindset of strategic detachment. You ask, what is the best container for my value right now for the next 18 months? And you are willing to change containers when the environment shifts. This requires a completely different relationship with security. The old security was in ownership. The new security is in mobility. System requirement number 3. Signal processing over noise consumption. This is the most critical requirement. The information environment is becoming toxic noise. Everyone is screaming for your attention, media, brands, influencers, your own friends. The old system rewarded consumption. Stay informed. Watch the news. Read all the books. That is a trap. The new system rewards extreme signal processing. Your ability to find the one useful piece of data in a terabyte of trash. The Deferred Life Protocol makes you a passive consumer of noise. You scroll, you watch, you read, thinking you are preparing for later. But you are just downloading other people's agendas. Your brain is getting fat on empty information calories. In 2026, the noise will increase by an order of magnitude. AI will generate personalized, addictive, convincing noise just for you. If you cannot filter it, you will be paralyzed. The upgrade here is to become a ruthless signal processor. You must design your information intake like a nutrition plan. You do not open the fridge and eat whatever is there. You plan your meals. Apply that to your mind. Who gets to speak to you? What data do you let in? What is your information bedtime? This is not a productivity hack. This is a survival skill. Wealth will flow to those who can see the pattern in the chaos, not to those who are drowning in it. So here is your 2026 compatibility test. Right now. Can you name a deeply held professional belief you have abandoned in the last year? If not, you fail agility. Have you moved value from one asset class to another based on a changing environment, not just fear or greed? If not, you fail fluidity. What is the last piece of information you actively refuse to consume? If you cannot answer, you fail signal processing. This is not a test you study for. It is a test you pass by how you live. The system does not care about your intentions. It only checks for compatibility. And in 2026, it will start shutting down the incompatible versions. You are not just rewriting your mind for a better life. You are upgrading for basic operational continuity. The next section is where we make it practical. We stop talking about code and start talking about conduct. The daily rituals that will make you not just compatible, but dominant in the new system. The daily rituals of the reprogrammed mind, your new code in action. Knowledge is not power. Executed knowledge is power. We have diagnosed the viruses. We have initiated the reprogramming sequence. We have understood the 2026 system requirements. Now, we descend from the abstract to the concrete. This is where your new code meets the keyboard of your daily life. This section contains the exact rituals, the daily, weekly, monthly commands that will compile your new wealth operating system. Miss this, and everything we have discussed becomes philosophical entertainment. Execute this, and you will not recognize your own life by Q4 2025. Ritual number 1, the morning system scan, 5 minutes daily. You do not check your phone, you do not check email, you scan your own system. This is a non-negotiable boot-up sequence. Command 1. Upon waking, before your feet hit the floor, ask, what is one resource I have today that I did not have this time last year? This attacks the scarcity kernel by forcing a gratitude for assets check, a skill, a relationship, capital, even health. Command 2. While brushing your teeth or making coffee, declare, today I will find value in the process, not just the outcome. This overrides the Deferred Life Protocol. It sets your brain to search for intrinsic reward in the work itself. Command 3. As you get dressed, adopt a proxy identity for the day, not for the whole week, for today. Today, I am the observer, gathering data without judgment. Or, today I am the architect, looking for systems to build. This is a low-stakes, high-impact bypass of your Identity Firewall. This scan takes 5 minutes. It does not create motivation. It installs the day's operating parameters. You are the system admin of your own mind. This is you logging in. Ritual number 2, the financial fog lift, 90 seconds twice daily. Financial anxiety is not caused by a lack of money. It is caused by a lack of clarity. Money becomes a scary, foggy monster in the dark corners of your mind. You must shine a light on it, briefly and ruthlessly, twice a day. At 12:02 p.m. and 5:00 p.m., you will open your primary banking Jacques investment app. You will not stare. You will scan. You are looking for one data point only. What is the current flow? Is money net flowing in or out today? Is an investment up or down? Do not calculate, do not project, just observe the direction. Then close the app. This ritual does two things. First, it disempowers the mystery. The monster is just a number, moving a little. Second, it trains you in asset fluidity. You are observing value in motion without attaching emotion to its current container. You are learning to see money as water level, not as a score. This kills the emotional charge and turns finance into a calm, managerial process. Ritual number 3. The Evening Code Review, 7 minutes daily. This is the most important ritual. This is where you compile the day's learnings and debug errors. Before bed, with a notebook or notes app. Part A. Pattern Recognition, 3 mins. Answer: what was the one recurring thought or feeling that tried to run my old program today? Did the Scarcity Kernel whisper, "You cannot afford that"? Did the Deferred Life Protocol say, "Just grind through this"? Write it down. Naming the virus strips its power. Part B. Signal versus noise. Audit, 2 mins. Answer: what was the single most valuable piece of information I consumed today? What was the biggest waste of my attention? This builds your signal processing muscle. You start to feel viscerally the difference between nutrient and poison for your mind. Part C. Proxy Identity Report, 2 mins. Answer: what did my proxy identity, the negotiator, the analyst, etc., do or see today that regular me would have missed? This forces integration. You are consciously pulling the lessons from your bypass operation into your main identity. This review is not a diary, it is a developer's log. You are not journaling your feelings, you are documenting system performance and planning patches. Ritual before. The Weekly Compatibility Sprint. 60 minutes, weekly, Sunday evening. This is your integration and stress test. Each week, you will test one of the 2026 system requirements in a low-stakes way. Week 1, Cognitive Agility Sprint. Spend 1 hour learning the basics of a skill or concept that contradicts a belief you hold. For example, if you believe crypto is a scam, spend an hour learning how a blockchain actually works from a technical source. You are not changing your opinion. You are stretching your ability to hold conflicting models in your mind. Week 2, Asset Fluidity Sprint. Move a small amount of money, even 50, into a different asset class than you usually use. From your savings to a stock, from cash to a cryptocurrency. Or even invest $50 in a tool or course. The amount is irrelevant. The act of transferring value consciously is the training. Week 3, Signal Processing Sprint. Go on a 24-hour information diet from a specific source, no news, no social media, no YouTube, and document what you did with the attention and mental space you reclaimed. This shows you the cost of noise in real time. These sprints are not about results. They are about building the neural pathways and the emotional tolerance for the behaviors the new system demands. You are learning to be agile, fluid, and selective by practice. The final ritual. The quarterly identity update, 90 minutes every 3 months. Every quarter, you will write a 1-paragraph description of who I am in terms of capabilities and actions, not job titles or net worth. Then you will read the description from 3 months prior. Your goal is to make the old description feel slightly outdated, not wrong, but incomplete. This proves your identity is expanding, not fixed. If the old description still fits perfectly, your firewall is still up and you are not growing. This ritual ensures you are not just doing new things, but becoming a new person capable of more. These rituals are the installation process for your 2026 ready mind. They are boring, they are systematic, they are utterly unsexy, and they are the exact difference between someone who talks about change and someone whose reality changes. The system is counting on you to not do the daily work. It is counting on your inspiration to fade. Your power lies in outlasting your own reluctance. You now have the map, the software patch, the compatibility test, and the daily commands. There is only one thing left to discuss: what you must protect this new system from, because the old world will try to virus you again. And its most potent weapon is not outside you. It is the person you see in the mirror. You now have everything: the diagnosis, the reprogramming sequence, the daily rituals, and the defense protocol. This is no longer about information. It is about integration. What you do in the next 72 hours will determine whether this remains an interesting video or becomes the turning point of your life. The old system is already testing your new code. You will feel the pull back to autopilot. That is why action must be immediate. Here is what I need you to do. Before you close this video, open the Notes app on your phone. Write these 3 words: scan, ritual, immunity. Scan is for your morning system scan tomorrow. Ritual is for your first evening code review tonight. Immunity is your pledge to enact the 72-hour rule on your first impulsive doubt. Do that right now. Pause me. Write it down. This is not a motivational trick. This is a system command. You are creating your first administrative log entry. Wealth is built in these silent, private moments of commitment, not in the public declarations. Now, if this perspective, the view of your mind as a system to be mastered, not a mystery to be suffered, makes sense to you, then I invite you to subscribe. But do not subscribe for more tips. Subscribe for a deeper conversation. Subscribe because you are choosing to become the system administrator of your own potential. Every video from here will be a new layer, a new patch, a new tool for that ongoing work. You have just completed a significant upgrade. Your 2026 compatibility is no longer a question of luck. It is a matter of daily execution.